Hello, my name is Ben Lovegrove, and in this video I'm going to summarise the description of a close encounter of the third kind given by the scientist and CEO Deep Prasad. This summary has been compiled from Deep's own account as published by him online in 2019. Deep Prasad is a multi-talented, multilingual engineer and scientist with an impressive list of awards and qualifications. Since August 2018, he has been the CEO of ReactiveQ, a company which works with supercomputers as well as quantum computers to provide major speedups for engineering simulations. In November 2019, Deep became the Vice President of Technology for UAP Expeditions, a non-profit group set up by one of the witnesses of the 2004 Nimitz incident. Its mission is to field a top-notch group of uber-experienced professionals providing the public service of field testing new UAP-related technologies. In plain speaking, it seems they're going to look for UFOs and learn how they work in order to benefit us all from the advanced technology. Note that the assumption has shifted from "do they exist" to "we know they exist, so let's find out how they work." Deep's Twitter bio, Deep Neuron, reads, "Using quantum computing to change the world, one simulation at a time. Engineer, physicist and ufologist." Now, you may be wondering why this brilliant young scientist suddenly became interested in UFOs. The answer is provided by Deep himself in his account of a close encounter. Deep published his account online in late November 2019 in a thread of tweets. I recommend you read the full account in his own words, which you'll find in his Twitter feed. Here's a brief summary. One morning in February 2019, he found himself physically paralyzed and looking at three non-human entities. As he looked, he sensed that these entities were projecting thousands of sentences and paragraphs into his mind, in a language that resembled a mix of Japanese and Egyptian hieroglyphics. Note, if you've read Whitley Strieber's book, A New World, you might be reminded of the similarities of his description of how the visitors sometimes communicate. Understandably, he wondered if he was having a seizure or a hallucination. He said that the beings didn't look like the conventional idea of extraterrestrials, but were more etheric in nature. His initial feeling of deep shock was soon replaced with one of euphoria as one of the three beings came closer to him. In his own words, "It felt like the universe was sentient and aware of my existence. The feeling was of warmth and nostalgia. It was like a reminder that space is teeming with life, and that we're all related to each other by virtue of existing." Naturally, he struggled to come to terms with the experience, wondered if he was going insane, and considered all other possible explanations. He described how, for about 2 weeks, he retained the feeling of oneness, and how his fears and anxieties had been replaced with ones of love and empathy for the human race. In the third week, the feeling subsided and his familiar anxieties and fears returned. But he is able to return to that heightened mental state with attention and effort. He began to have dreams about the insides of UAPs and has since had 4 UFO sightings. On one occasion he was alone, but during the other 3 sightings he was in the company of other people. He concludes his account on an upbeat note, expressing gratitude for the experience, for the people he has met since, and with optimism for the future of humanity. Obviously, this public disclosure of a profound close encounter has generated a great deal of interest, especially since it comes from someone so well qualified in the fields of computing and physics. It reminds me of the account allegedly given by former NASA scientist and space artist Ed Belbruno, who, it is said, described how in 1991, while driving with his girlfriend on an isolated road in Wyoming, he found the road blocked by a huge black rectangle. Belbruno is a brilliant mathematician whose calculations within the field of ballistic orbits and spaceflight have earned him the respect and admiration of his peers. As other commentators have also noted, it's reminiscent of the data download described by Sergeant Jim Penniston during the Rendlesham Forest incident in the UK in 1980. It stands to reason that any non-human intelligence that wanted to give humanity a rapid and immediate upgrade in technological knowledge would seek out its most brilliant minds first. Perhaps then these NHIs would simply form a connection with these human minds and initiate a download into them, during which the human mind would absorb the data dump. The knowledge might then emerge from the mind in fresh insights and ideas that would lead to technological progress, as well as the mental, emotional and spiritual advancement required in order to utilize this great power ethically. Perhaps this is how an artistic or scientific muse works. Perhaps they are indeed non-human intelligences who mentor humans in their evolutionary progress. It remains to be seen what new and exciting discoveries Deep's experience will eventually generate. But I too am optimistic about humanity's future, given the fact that we appear to be receiving help and encouragement from entities far more advanced and evolved than ourselves. They may be ETs, angels, muses, interdimensional entities, or perhaps humans from the distant future. But it seems we're not alone in the vast emptiness of space. We are unique creatures in whom many other intelligences have a keen interest. Collectively, we all make up part of the universal fabric, the web of space and time. We should not bow down in subservience to any non-human intelligence that only seeks to provide us with the means to progress. We need to retain our own identity as a species, separate and distinct, while being guided by our advanced mentors. What are your thoughts on these ideas? Post a comment below. Please give this video a like and share it with others who might be interested in this subject. And subscribe to my channel for the next video on this topic.